Only the President has the power to negotiate peace. Congress cannot dictate it. The Vietnam Moratorium Committee cannot coerce it. And all the students in America can't create it. By attacking the President, the protesters attack our hope for peace. They weaken the hand that can save.
How do you feel about the Haynsworth nomination now that the Chicago Council of Lawyers has asked the President to withdraw it, and the Chicago Council of Lawyers has asked the President to withdraw it, and the ABA has said that they're going to review it again?
Well, I think the ABA certainly should review it. Cons think they can't come up with anything but the same answer.
How do you interpret, though, their second review?
Well, I think they have nominations under constant review. We're still confident Judge Haynsworth will be confirmed because, as I said before, the charges are flimsy and they're contrived and they haven't got any substance to them.
We understand that you canceled a speaking engagement in New Jersey on the 15th, the day that is supposedly going to be the moratorium. What action, if any, are you going to take on that day?
Well, I didn't cancel that appearance. It was canceled by the people running the dinner, or rather postponed by them, in view of the fact that they thought that there may be some disturbances that would interfere with their ability to draw a good crowd.
Okay.
I've always tried to be realistic about evaluating the problems in this area. I think one of the main reasons that we have problems with respect to regulations of the liquor industry is because people really try to hide their true feelings too much. There's too much hypocrisy. There's people not really practicing what they preach. And I've always been for strong liquor regulations, and I've tried to be realistic in evaluating the position and the conditions of the industry itself. And to be truthful about it, they have already paying a very high excise tax. It's one of the very few industries that's now subject to both excise tax and sales tax. And a lot of these working people, if they knew the real facts about it, and when they make a purchase and find out that about 53% of it is tax, they become a little bit more understanding. And they certainly appreciate our fairness by looking into it and not considering it strictly an emotional issue.
Isn't it funny the way you can look at things all your life and never really see them? The other day I was standing about half daydreaming and looking out the window of our office in Fort Worth when suddenly all I could see was empty flagpoles. Empty flagpoles. I think the thing that first caught my attention was the physical location of one of them. From where I stood, I couldn't find any way to get to the pole to put a flag on it. It's high atop a sign, maybe 15 or 20 stories above the ground. So the fact that there was no flag on that pole wasn't particularly surprising. Then, maybe for want of anything else to do, I began a perfunctory check of the roofs of other nearby buildings. Did you ever stop to think about how many buildings have flagpoles on top of them, and how few of them have flags flying? All this is not meant to be, forgive the expression, flagpole waving. In fact, I'm not as patriotic as I ought to be. When they had the F-111 ceremony at Carswell the other day, I caught myself taking pictures of officers saluting during the playing of the national anthem. Well, news photographers do it all the time, I told myself, as I stood half ashamed. Even though I couldn't free a hand from my equipment to cover my heart, at least I could be standing still, or so I thought. Goodness knows I'm not trying to be a super patriot or anything, but, you know, it seems to me a lesser violation to have no flagpole at all than to have one and not bother to run up the flag. Jerry Taff, Channel 8 News, Fort Worth.
Things are beginning to happen here in the heart of downtown Dallas at this hour. Traffic is already heavy and even snarling at times as revelers are arriving for the annual Texas OU pregame bash. The appearance of impending disaster is spreading throughout the area as merchants try to take steps to protect their shops, especially windows. The center of this massive Excedrin headache is Commerce and Akron. But as the number of participants grows each year, the pandemonium also spreads out over a wider area. The police have also geared for the mob scene. Off-duty officers have been called in. The night shift is already on duty early. The official attitude towards those who partake in this mass misdemeanor is explained by Police Chief Charles Batchelor.
Well, of course, we want everyone, particularly our visitors who come to Dallas, to have a good time within the bounds of reason, but there will be strict enforcement of the statutes and ordinances of the city of Dallas. We will have over 600 officers, both city police, state police, sheriff's department, and reservists in the downtown area. It must be remembered that under Texas law, a person under 21 years of age is not permitted to possess alcoholic beverages, and these persons will be prosecuted if found in possession of beer or liquor. We cannot tolerate acts of vandalism or acts of breaches of the peace. We had a rather good experience last year in terms of the fact that we had no one injured, we had no serious acts of vandalism, and we had no deaths occur. And we're going to try our best to see that we have a similar experience this year.
150 highway patrolmen have come into Dallas to back up the city and county forces. Last year, over 650 persons were arrested, a record number. An innovation this year is the operation of a first aid station at Jackson and St. Paul. The First Presbyterian and First Methodist churches are sponsoring the mini hospital, an idea they got from the recent Louisville Pop Festival. A Chamber of Commerce slogan describes Dallas as the time of your life city. Thousands of persons apparently take that slogan literally the night before the annual Texas OU football game. And in times past, that night has been the last time of a few lives. This is Roger McDonald, Channel 8 News.